Well, hi everyone. My name's Michael and I'm here with Afina. Hey, Afina.
Hi.
Now, we wanted to have a chat, or really, I wanted to have a chat to you about Dynamics GP and Dynamics Business Central. So, the Microsoft ERP solutions include Microsoft Dynamics GP, of which we've got a number of organizations that we work with, and Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central. And I wanted to have a chat to you because you've got great experience with both. And I wanted to get some insight on your experience with both applications and what you've seen firsthand and conversations you've had with organizations. So let me ask you a couple of background questions.
Sure.
How long have you been working with Dynamics GP?
Actually, I got started in 1996 as
Okay.
an assistant accountant. So I was
All
on the
right.
ground using the
A
product myself.
user. Okay. 1996. All right. And what about Business Central? How much work have you done with Business Central?
We're looking at about probably 5 years. So
Okay.
28 years with GP
Yep.
and 5 years with Business Central.
Okay, which is still a long time in Business Central terms because it's a relatively new release in the Microsoft solution suite from Nav to Business Central. So there's still a lot of experience in both.
Definitely.
Now, what about, have you done work with organizations that may have previously used Dynamics GP and then moved to Business Central?
Actually, funny enough, I have. So I got into GP consulting because I was an end user with a lot of experience.
Mm-hmm.
Similarly, I got involved with Business Central because I've got a lot of experience in GP. And, just ease that transition for users when they're comfortable with someone that knows
Mm-hmm.
the pains that they've gone through
Yep.
and how they use the product now versus how they need to use it in Business Central. So it just helps.
So you can kind of provide that translation capability on here's what you would have done in GP and what you can now do in Business Central.
Exactly. And that's what I do. When we workshop anything, I go, well, this is
Mm-hmm.
how we do it in GP. This is
Mm-hmm.
how we would do the same thing in Business Central. And a lot of times it's just a different looking window. The process is still the same. So,
Okay.
the fear factor disappears when they can see, oh, I can still do what I need to do. I'm just looking at a different window.
Okay. Excellent. So what I'd like to do then, if I can, is ask you some questions around particular personas within an organization, but then also get your own personal experience and insight
Sure.
around the two and the differences. So if we were to start looking through an IT lens, so if I'm an IT professional, a CIO, an IT manager within an organization, why might I like Business Central as compared to what I know now in GP?
Look, all departments have budgets. So the very
Mm-hmm.
first thing that we talk about is the fact that they don't need another server on premise, right? That's all
Yeah.
handled in Azure as
Yep.
part of their subscription, right?
Okay.
So that's taken away. The maintenance, the Microsoft licensing, all of that is no longer a concern for them,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? The next thing is we get a lot of questions, especially with tight security. Everyone's security conscious, right?
Definitely.
Users have too much flexibility in GP to put their own passwords on, right? So
Okay.
these things are controlled through the Active Directory when you move to
Mm-hmm.
Business Central. So it's a
Mm-hmm.
single sign-on,
Okay.
right? And if
Mm-hmm.
your organization has that multi-factor authentication, even
Mm-hmm.
better, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's included as well.
Okay, so the security is a big aspect
Security is a
handled
big,
handled within Business Central,
yeah,
but also that infrastructure that you were talking about is taken care of
correct.
in Business Central as a SaaS delivered
Yes,
solution.
and I mean the number of times, I mean I've been in those roles previously. So
Mm-hmm.
the number of times that we have to do a test company,
Mm-hmm.
right? And unless you know SQL Server,
Mm-hmm.
you you're in a different playing field, right? So
Yep.
so it's the copy is a few minutes.
Okay.
So you could, the users will get it quite quickly.
Yep.
The backing up, that's all handled automatically for you. You have live notifications that Microsoft lets you know. I mean, the upgrades, the list goes on. The upgrades are easier.
Tell me about that. Tell me about upgrades, because I know they historically in the GP world, they're pretty significant projects as such.
Yes, I mean, some can take 3 months, 6 months.
Okay.
Our larger clients take years sometimes, right?
Yeah.
So with the updates that come through, we have minor updates, which you barely feel that come through. Microsoft pushes that through, and voila, you wake up in the morning and it's there. The larger ones that come out, I say larger, but they're not really. We've got a well-managed service when it comes to that area. So, we've got a team that helps the IT team through that, but we don't really do anything other than guide you, right?
Yeah, and you're always current. You're always on the latest release with those
Correct.
updates.
You're always on the latest release. You don't have to
space,
wait.
You had to get an upgrade to the latest version. It was a major project. Consider it and plan it. Now
you also had to have a different server. We actually had to have a test server, right? Okay. Because we've got to test separately and then roll it out. Now that's a cost in itself.
It's additional cost, right? Exactly.
Whereas you come with 3 test environments, up to 3, you can create sandboxes, right? And those can be whipped up within minutes again.
Okay. Nice. So, look, I'm hearing some great things from an IT perspective. I love that. What about, let's change it now. If I'm a finance exec, so I'm a CFO, financial controller, why might I like Business Central compared to what I'm using and doing now with GP?
Look, we've got lovely analysis tools inside Business Central itself.
Okay.
We have the great dashboards where you can actually see KPIs come up, right? Because I know that you're not in there that often, right? But we also have a very advanced, budget team reporting tool, which we use with Business Central as well. The forecasting solution as well. So it ticks all the boxes.
Okay, excellent. And then just extrapolate that a little bit to the users then. So why might users like Business Central?
Look, I'm all about as minimal clicks of the mouse as possible. I know users are the same. So the search tool is quite advanced. You just, I mean, we're used to web browsers. The great thing is it's in a web browser, right? Whichever one you're used to, you can have Business Central on that, right?
Okay.
We just click the search and you can basically find any window that you need to go into, or better yet, just save it as a favorite, right? So that it minimizes the amount of clicks of your mouse. That's one of the things. The other things is the smart lists, right? I know that.
Yeah, tell me about that, because smart lists is popular in GP.
Exactly. They are very popular because you can export to Excel, right?
Okay.
As a lot of times that's what they want. But there's limitations there because you can't always join the tables or things, you don't get to add more fields, or you get stuck with what you've got. In Business Central, we have the capabilities of sort of matching what SmartList does, but extending that. So we just go straight into Excel using the edit in Excel functionality.
Ooh, okay.
And then we can just join as many tables as we like. We can have it as a refreshable, right? And it has so many other capabilities that users just, that's one of the things that I'm always training, right? Always training.
Now, you make it sound like it's so easy. And I guess one of the benefits of the Microsoft solution is it is integrated to the other Microsoft pieces in that suite. So it really is easy, because it is a fully integrated solution. So that's a benefit in itself.
Correct. I mean, if you've used Excel, then you'll be fine, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times accountants or end users don't want to let go of their Excel spreadsheets, right? You don't have to. You just create them from BC, right?
Brilliant. Brilliant.
So
now, okay, here's a more personal question. Okay, so here's where I really want to get some insight. So as a consultant who has spent lots of years in GP and working with GP and now working with Business Central, why do you love Business Central?
I love it because it's accessible from anywhere around the world. And I travel a lot.
I do, yes.
And my laptop is like my
and
wallet.
You still work.
Right?
That's right.
Yeah. Well, you call it work. I call it entertainment.
Okay.
Right. But it's accessible from around the world. Well, that's the first thing, right?
It's still secure, back on your previous comments around single sign-on, multi-factor authentication.
Look, if your IT team decide they're going to lock it to localization only, then you can do that too, right? So you can prevent external countries from accessing it. So that's a good thing too, right? So we do have a lot of clients that do that. But I like the fact that everything is easy, and it is like copying a database. Right? If you want me to whip up a test company, I'll whip that up quite quickly, or I'll show you how to do it. If you're good at spelling, right, and you only have to know how to spell companies, then you can copy a company, right? That's as hard as it gets.
Right. So easy to use, flexible, accessible. I like that reference there too. True SaaS solution, which means we're not setting up environments ourselves. That's managed by Microsoft. So I think from a consulting perspective, there's a lot of positives there from a Business Central usage.
There's actually two more. Sorry to interrupt you.
That's okay. A couple of bonus.
There is. So the master data, right? There's often times
master data?
There's often times when we enter in the wrong chart of account code. Now, if you do that in GP, right, and you've started using it and you've only realized when you've done your end of month reports, it's too late. You have to go through a large process to change that, right, to make sure the history goes with it. BC, it's basically you're allowed to edit it and the history stays with it.
Oh, okay. So it keeps that audit capability on that change as well.
It does. It keeps everything with it. So if it was supposed to be ABC 1, 2, 3, but you got it wrong or whatever, right? There's the ability to just change that quite quickly. Right now, and there is audit trailing that we turn on for that if you need it tracked, definitely. But that's one of the things that I love the most because of that. We still have the merging capabilities if you've accidentally set up two vendors and they're both the same, right? So that hasn't changed, right? It actually is better in BC.
Better in easier to do, or
the visibility of what it's doing is in front of you, and you get a choice when you merge. You get a choice. Do you want the original one or do you want the one it's going to? So is it the original information you'll keep in this instance when you merge, or do you want the destinations? So you actually have that choice. You don't have that choice in GP.
Right.
You merge, it's either the original or the destination. But here you can mix and match and go, well, I got the address right here, but I didn't get it right here. So I'll keep the address here, but I'll change the phone number from this one. So you get that. So that's the other thing I like about it. I mean, there's a lot of things I like about it, but from the top of my head, when I'm getting to the user, because I know those user frustrations, I know a lot of times we're rushed and we make those small mistakes. Well, they can quickly be edited, either one-off, or you use your lovely edit in Excel and you publish the change across all of the master records, right? So you're now updating addresses, missing phone numbers, missing ABNs. You can all do that in one push of the button.
Oh, lovely, lovely. Oh, wow. Hey, look, you've inspired me. And I think this chat's been wonderful. I think the insight that you provide there with the experience in GP and the usability of Business Central. And I know you've loved GP for many years. And I can see the joy in your face around Business Central. So I think that comes off from a user's perspective as well. It sounds like you'll even love BC more. And there's genuine reasons why that's the case, all the way from IT, finance, through to the users across the organisation, which is fantastic. So thanks for spending some time with me, Athena. Really appreciate it. Love the insight and look forward to our next chat.
Anytime. Thanks, Michael.
Thanks, Athena.
Bye.